What's going on, everybody? Today we are working on this 1985 Corvette, and we've got something we're going to be fixing. It's a fairly common issue on these old cars, including pretty much anything from the 80s. I'm sure you will be familiar with this. Check it out. So the issue we're having with this baby in the 80s, rubber just doesn't tend to last very long. So we're going to be taking this door panel off. We've got a bunch of new hardware for it as well. And we're going to replace the inner as well as the outer felts on this thing. This is actually falling off. When you wind the window down, this will actually pop inward. So we're going to change that out. We got a driver's side as well as a passenger side. This one isn't as bad. It's got a bunch of cracks and stuff like that. Oh, that door's locked. Then on this passenger side inner, it's not really that bad. So it is coming off the door panel. It is loose in the rear, I believe. So we'll get that fixed up. So one thing you want to take note of is see what hardware is missing, and looks like everything's missing on this one. You got two bolts here. You got a screw that goes in the back there, which is gone. And the armrest, two bolts go there. They're missing. And then behind this, there is another screw, which I am not entirely sure if it's still there or not. So we'll have to pop that out. Here we go. Oh, you know what? On 85, I don't think they used them. It was in the 90s. So, yeah, we've got a hardware kit for this car. He's got some hardware that he's purchased. But it looks like all the door screws here are pretty good. Usually this carpet tends to get wet when they start to leak, and then they rust the heads up on these, and you can never get them off without drilling them out. Got another one back here. We'll be taking those bolts out and getting this thing tore down. So on this door, there's actually a rivet in the back corner as well as one in the front, so we're gonna have to drill those out. We needed to move the glass off of the seal so we can remove it, so we just removed the felt bumpers. So I'm gonna need to unbolt this rear weather stripping. It's glued down, so try your best not to tear it. We're gonna have to glue that back down when we're done, but this has to move out of the way so we can access the rivet there. And this one's already accessible there, and another one right here. Thicker portion goes towards the rear. These are a little bit different design. These are actually going to go in the holes and clip in. So these kind of a later design for that. But you just want to make sure everything lines up. Then you're going to want to re-rivet everything back in its original place. Looks like all my holes line up. So there's 3 rivets in total. Going to need a rivet gun. I use this Arrow. It's got a flexible head so you can get at it from all different angles. I really like this one. It should have longer handles on it. You're probably going to want to set them all in before you rivet it, because if you end up locking one end down, it's going to be hard to get the alignment back in where you need it if something else is off. That one went in good. Got the last one down here at the rear. Oh, this one's not lining up. Let's see how the seal looks. Seal looks good. Looks like it ends right. So this rear hole we may have to drill. So you want to make sure your seal's sitting flush on top of the door panel before you really lock these things down, because once they're in, it's permanent. And we're looking good, so I'm gonna start off by riveting. I might start with this back corner because this is the one that keeps trying to pop off on me. So for your seals, you're going to want to use 3M super weather strip adhesive. So you really don't have to mark anything on this unless they've been screwed with a million times. But we're just going to line this back up where it was and see if that's not too much tension, because this will change it a little bit, this new seal. So we'll play it by ear. So next we're going to be moving to the inner seals. So here are the door panels in the rear. So we've got our old felts here, and it was actually coming off in the center. It's torn there, but the rest of it's held down. It actually uses these staples that are installed that way from the factory. Alright, so we got the new weather stripping. We know it fits good, so we're just going to line it up and then we are going to staple it on. In order to drive staples through this, you're not going to be able to use an actual regular staple gun. Something like this. This isn't going to even put a dent on it. What you're going to have to use is basically an air stapler. They did this from the factory because it was just it was quick, and you'll see why. So for the door panel, you might want to get a heat gun and heat up that rail before you go and put staples to it. Definitely keeps it from cracking. These are pretty brittle as they're from 1985. And we're not done yet. We actually have to curl over the staples. So now we've got new inner sweeps on our door panel. And they look fantastic. So on to the next side, pretty much the same exact thing. Alright, so that'll pretty much sum it up. Definitely, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, if it was helpful for you. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. And stay tuned, we'll be doing some more videos on stuff like this. Work on a lot of Corvettes. So, just wanted to show you these seals and how good they look. Did the inners as well as the outers. So, huge difference. And they tuck up in there very nicely. So, don't be afraid to purchase a vehicle that looks like that, because you can always end up with that. Alright, I'll see you guys on the next one.